Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take another look here at Harmony One, which is definitely a coin to pay attention to. And I'll explain more about that in a moment, of course. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, love teaching people how to trade. Hopefully you can learn a thing or two here today. We're going to go ahead and understand big picture, potentially where the price might be, and obviously just the overall condition of Harmony One. If you're not a community member, of course, link in the description below. CryptoCache.tech is a site. Check that out in your own time, of course. But what that does, it gives you options for trade signals that I send out for every single trade that I take, so you know how to structure your trades, as well as a trading academy teaching you every step of the way how to become a better trader, and obviously, more important, the trading community to help you make sound decisions. Amazing experience. Check that out in your own time. We have weekly roundtable discussions too, which is nice. We just talked a lot about yesterday with potential coins and what's going to happen next, so be on the lookout for that. Okay, Harmony One, here's what's going on. First of all, we hit a bottom potentially of about 10.9 cents. We could say round number 11 cents. And why don't we go ahead and take a look at the history too and kind of see roughly if that is a point in which we need to pay attention to or not. Nothing super significant there, but why don't we look at the volume, kind of identify here. So again, this is roughly about a month's worth of trading. Sorry, a year's worth of trading data. Is that right? Sorry. Yeah, February 21. So roughly 1 month's worth of trading here, just a little over. And if we look at the volume, see the largest amount of volume is below and parallel with the current price action. So that to me is a very, very good sign. We have a strong volume profile in between the range of just say 11 cents and 16 cents roughly. So all good stuff there. Obviously we have a little bit more volume above as well, which is potentially problematic for potential resistances. But generally speaking, when you see a volume profile lower than the current price action, that's a really good sign. Okay. And if we take a look here as well at the volume, see there's really no dissipation of volume in the last 3 trading days. So a decent amount of consistency there is important. It doesn't imply that we may not see a turnaround right away based on the fact that the volume is kind of staying steady. So again, good stuff there in that sense. If we take a look at the simple moving averages, we do have the potential death cross, which I think is only super relevant on Bitcoin and coins that are super independent of Bitcoin. I don't think Harmony One has established itself there yet, but of course it might be trending towards that. That being said, it's not a bad thing to be underneath that for the moment. Just know that the 50-day SMA is going to work its way down, and that could potentially work as a resistance level eventually. So in the next, week worth of trading, we could very well see that come into play. For now, not super relevant, just know that could be a potential resistance. And of course, another thing too as well, if you see this nice little support level at about 17.2, the current resistance level that is testing and having trouble passing was a previous support level. So we can kind of just stick a line right in there, and you can see that it had a lot of trouble passing that point before, worked as a support. Now it could be a resistance, okay? In other words, there's a sell wall right there at 17.2, 17.3, and we could effectively continue to see that. So we might have to build a little bit more volume before we get there. Yeah, well, that's a worst case scenario, but it's definitely looking good. If we get a close above 17.3, I'd say that's a good signal, just in general, to consider taking a position. We are also stuck under 50 on the RSI. This reflects exactly the same sentiment that I have on this key level resistance of 17.3. So 17.3 is synonymous with 50 on the RSI. 50 on the RSI is notoriously resistance. Coincidence that those two things are happening at the same time? Definitely not. This happens all the time in trading. So just note that in that regard, 17.3 is a key level resistance that we need to break through to close above, establishes a support. I'd prefer a full 24 hours of trading. Some people ask me, hey, price just broke above this key level resistance. What do we do? Well, have you had enough time at that level to establish confirmation? No? No. Yeah, usually the answer is no. And what I mean by confirmation is just usually 2 candlesticks. So just say today closes at 17.4. Not necessarily the best confirmation you want to look for. Ultimately, obviously on smaller time frames you can identify differences, but you want to see a second day of consolidation and or close above that level in order to establish that as confirmation. Okay. So again, not saying that one day isn't enough, but it's typically not, if that makes any sense. All right. Anyways, looking at the moving averages here on the 4-hour, we're still, again, 200-day SMA is working right at that price point as well. So again, we got a lot of resistance confirmations at 17.3. We get a close to say 17.5, maybe closer to 18. I'd feel very good about that. That'd be much better. But if the price closes right at 17.3, not confirmation. It's just trying to drive that home there. So anyways, 4-hour looks pretty good in that regard. We were up over 50 under 70 on our RSI. We had a recent MACD convergence. A lot of coins look like this right now. which is actually all well and good. So not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, why don't we go ahead and take a look at this here, see what's going on. We did break a trend line, which is obviously very helpful. Broke above, came back down to test that support of 14 cents and came up, consolidated at 16, and now it's pushing up again. So all good stuff here. Just keep in mind this recent doji-ish type of candle was caused from Bitcoin spiking up, spiking down, and then consolidating sideways. Bitcoin has pulled back a little bit, which is why we see this pullback here today as well for Harmony One. So just note that, expecting Bitcoin to come back down a little bit, I think is very realistic. Check out my other Bitcoin video if you're curious about that. But I talk about how important it is to identify and understand what Bitcoin's doing. And right now, Bitcoin is kind of showing that it wants to essentially retrace before it increases. Okay, or we might actually get a slight increase to test 46, get a rejection down to 43.4, 41.5, and then back up again. There's a myriad of scenarios that are possible right now, but that's the general consensus that Bitcoin could and should pull back in the immediate future within the next couple of trading days. I'd say by Friday we should expect at least a red candle somewhere in there. Okay, may not happen today, might happen tomorrow. We will see soon. All right, so taking a look here at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and just take a look at the cloud. Pretty much telling us that we probably should have closed our position by now. It's kind of a little muddled here. We've had a lot of up and down, but the key here to understand is that it is making higher lows, all right, and higher highs. So all in all, definitely good stuff here from Harmony One in that sense. It's performing much better than Bitcoin is in the most recent, last 24 hours. So it does feel like it's ready to take off. It's just building a volume profile at 16.7, right around that 17 cent range, until we can break this threshold of just say 17.5 is a round number. Then we're going to be probably still in the same position here. So for lack of better terms, there's nothing that's extremely negative here. It's mostly positive. Higher highs and higher lows. It's kind of creating this type of ascending pattern as well. So you can speculate that the price will probably break to the upside in the near future. It's a good chance that. Just note that if Bitcoin does correct itself, which we're expecting, there's a strong chance that Harmony One could very well get stuck and come back down before it goes up again. All right, but pending Bitcoin, just say Bitcoin goes sideways the rest of the week. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, neutral. Harmony One will absolutely continue to progress upwards. It's showing all the strong signs there. Just once again, this is going to be a tough place to cross 17.4 or 17.3, whatever. That is essentially an area that's a lot of moving averages, a lot of resistances are kind of forming. So don't expect it just to break straight through that. If it does do this, and this is something that's kind of cool I've noticed, is when the price just say to come up here and then eventually break. A lot of times what you want to look for is the pullback. It'll pull back and it'll consolidate at that previous resistance, now essentially a support, and then you get the leg up from there. So if we get a pull up and then it pulls back down to 17.3, that's a go sign, right? That's usually a go sign. Again, that pullback is healthy in most cases, consolidating at that support level, and it pushes back up, squeezes those bears out, and essentially pushes the price action higher. So that is a very strong likelihood. Another likelihood, of course, is the fact the price goes sideways, kind of consolidates down closer to 16, because Bitcoin may retrace down to its key level support, and in that sense, Harmony One would do the same thing as well. Still making higher highs and higher lows, by the way, and then kind of continue upwards. Okay. Again, I'm more bullish than bearish on Harmony One. I just know that we might have a little bit of turbulence here in the immediate future, but I do speculate we're looking pretty good. So in that sense here, just kind of big picture, based on the sentiment of the fact that the price from its most recent bottom to now is up 60%, and that took about 6-7 trading days, we could very well be somewhere in the range of about 23-24 cents within the next week. Okay, and then best case scenario, we'd be right around 35-36 cents to test its recent high, January 14th. And we could be there within the next couple of months. Okay, again, could happen sooner, could not happen at all. But I do feel like Harmony One broke free from its trend line. It's making some nice higher highs and higher lows. It has no reason to slow down now, and it is distinguishing itself separate from other altcoins. Most other altcoins are kind of struggling right now based on the fact that Bitcoin dominance is still very high. Until dominance recedes and we start to see a shift in momentum there, coins like Harmony One, coins like Luna, even potentially Solana actually looks like it's going to take off. There's a lot of coins right now that are preparing and getting ready for takeoff. Harmony One does feel like it's going to do that. Again, key level resistance, close above 17.3, right at 17.5 would be perfect, but we might need another 24 to 48 hours to get there. I hope you find benefit here, of course. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're not currently a community member, consider joining. Link in the description below. CryptoCache.tech is the site. You gain access to my trade signals that I send out for every single trade that I take. You also get a really easy opportunity to be able to interact with myself and the community and my trading academy that is actually proven to do very well to give you a strong foundation of becoming a better trader. I look forward to getting to know you better. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. See you soon.